Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be for Earth and Space Science, but as always, even if you're not in that class, if you want to stick around and learn a little bit about the outer planets, you're more than welcome to. If you refer back to our last video, the last video for Earth and Space Science talked about the inner planets, which is Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. They are called the inner planets because they are the four that are the closest to the Sun. So we are going to talk about the rest of the planets. Planets proper. Sorry, Pluto is not on this list, so if you're a Pluto fan, you're going to be disappointed. But before we get any further, I wanted to make sure that everybody is aware that if you are in my Earth and Space Science class, there is going to be a quiz that goes up on Schoology soon. It will pertain to the last video and this one. So, keep an eye on Schoology. I should be posting up a quiz there soon. And whenever it's up, I will send out an email to make sure that everybody is aware. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the lesson for today, the outer planets. The outer planets are also known as the gas giant planets. This refers to Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Interiors are either gas or liquid with a very small inner solid core. So, even though these planets are some of the biggest in our solar system, they're not solid. Most of them are either gas or liquid. So these planets, you can't really go and land on them. Like, we can land on Mars, but we can't go and land on Saturn because it's not solid. There's nothing there to land on. And anything that is solid is actually very small. These planets are mostly made up of hydrogen, helium, carbon, and oxygen. These are all elements that we have in air. So, like I said, these planets aren't solid like Earth is. You know, you can go outside, you can touch the solid Earth. These planets don't have that. Alright, first one we're going to talk about is Jupiter, and it is named for the Roman god of the sky. Jupiter is the largest planet, roughly 11 times the size of Earth. So we tend to think of Earth as this massive thing whenever Jupiter, a planet that's not very far away compared to other planets and celestial bodies, that is 11 times the size of Earth. Just fathom that for just a minute. 11 Earths make up Jupiter. Jupiter has a banded appearance, and one of its most prominent features is its great red spot. We'll talk more about the Great Red Spot in just a moment. This is a picture of Jupiter. So whenever I said it had a banded appearance, if you look on this picture right here, it has stripes. And down there on the bottom right, you can see the Great Red Spot of Jupiter. Jupiter's Great Red Spot is an atmospheric storm that has been raging for 300 years. So a storm that ran for 300 years. That's a really big storm. A long time. We can see it. We can see this storm from not even getting close to the planet. That's how massive this storm is. Jupiter has over 60 moons. You know, Earth has 1. Mars has 2. Jupiter has over 60. There are very faint rings around Jupiter that were discovered only by a probe, Voyager 1. And a day on Jupiter is 11 hours. So Jupiter is 11 times the size of Earth. So it's huge. It's massive. But it only takes 11 hours for Jupiter to make one full turn. So just 11 hours is all it takes to go from looking straight on to rotating clear around and back again. 11 hours is all it takes. So this Jupiter is spinning very fast. You know, it takes Earth 24 hours to make one full rotation. But Jupiter only takes 11 hours, and it's 11 times the size of Earth. So Jupiter's spinning real fast. All right, these are 4 of Jupiter's moons. We have Europa, Io, Callisto, and Ganymede. You know, I included this picture because I think these look beautiful. But it just goes to show how different Jupiter and its moons are from Earth and our moon. And look at these names. I think they're a lot cooler than the moon. Kind of lame. I wish people had come up with a better name, but I think these names are a lot cooler. Gravity assist. Due to Jupiter's size, probes that fly past Jupiter often adjust their path to use its gravity as a boost. So these different space telescopes and probes that we send out into space, if they go past Jupiter, they can adjust their path in a way that they can go into the gravitational pull of Jupiter, and then kind of slingshot themselves around in a way that uses Jupiter's gravity as a boost to send it further out into space. Alright, next up is Saturn. And Saturn is named for the Roman god of wealth, and it is the 2nd largest planet in the solar system. Its atmosphere is mostly hydrogen and helium, and internally it is likely similar to Jupiter, mostly liquid with a small solid core. So, mostly liquid. And Saturn is less dense than water. So, if we could take a supermassive bathtub or bucket and we just fill it with water and then we put Saturn in it, Saturn would float. Saturn is less dense than water. I think that's pretty cool. And the most striking image that we associate with Saturn is its rings. The rings of Saturn are its biggest feature, and they are bigger and brighter than any other planet's rings. There are other planets that have rings as well, but Saturn's are the ones that are most visible and most striking. They are composed of ice that vary in size from microscopic to the size of a house. So, all of those rings are just clusters of tiny little ice pellets, clear up to big, massive chunks of ice that would be the size of our school. So, vary in size, but it's due to those big chunks of ice is what makes you see those rings. Saturn has more than 60 moons, so like Jupiter, it has a lot of moons. The largest moon around Saturn is called Titan, which is actually larger than Mercury. So, the moon, that just tells you how big Saturn is. That it has a moon that is larger than another planet in our solar system. And probes have suggested geologic activity on this moon. Now you might be thinking, well, why isn't Titan a planet? If Titan is bigger than Mercury, what makes it not a planet? Well, the difference between a moon and a planet is what it revolves around. You know, our moon here on Earth, it revolves around Earth, whereas Earth revolves around the sun. So, because Titan revolves around Saturn, it does not revolve around the sun. That makes it a moon and not a planet. Probes have suggested geologic activity on this moon. That means things like quakes and volcanoes. So, if it was on Titan and there was a quake, it would be called a Titan quake. I think that's a cool name. Alright, next up is Uranus. This is named for the Greek god of the sky. It was accidentally discovered in 1781, and the average temperature is negative 215 degrees Celsius. That's pretty cold. Just for reference, I know you may not be familiar with Celsius. water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius. So the average temperature on Uranus is negative 215 degrees below freezing. Pretty cold. Okay, it is 15 times the mass of Earth, so even bigger than, it is 15 times bigger than Earth, and its blue appearance comes from methane. This planet is mostly made up of the gas methane. It is few clouds and completely liquid. So there is nothing solid, to our knowledge, to Uranus. It is completely liquid methane. Uranus has 27 moons in a faint ring system. So there are rings around Uranus, but they're very faint. They're hard to see. The rings are almost invisible. And it is tilted so much that its north pole is where our equator is. So, you know how... I'm going to use this bottle of whiteout. So, you know how our Earth, whenever it rotates, it goes like this, right? We'll say that the cap on this whiteout is the North Pole, and our Earth is going to rotate just like this. Well, Uranus is tilted so much that its North Pole is where our equator is. So, if we were on Uranus, our planet would be like this and rotate this way. So, and this is thought to be the result of a massive collision. Alright, last planet we're going to talk about is Neptune, and it is named for the Roman god of the sea. Neptune's existence was predicted before proved due to Uranus's orbit. Due to some irregularities that people were noticing in Uranus's orbit, they knew there had to be something out beyond it that was big enough to have a gravitational pull of its own. Neptune is striped with clouds around the planet, and similar to Uranus, it appears blue due to methane. Now, Neptune is not as big as the other gas giants. It is only 4 times the size of Earth. So it's smaller when compared to the other outer planets, but still massive when it's compared to Earth. Like I said, 4 times the size. Neptune has 13 moons, and the largest is Triton. Triton has a very thin atmosphere and nitrogen geysers. So there is a slight amount of atmosphere there, but I'd be willing to bet not even close enough to support any form of life. Okay guys, that's going to be it for today. Just before we finish up here, got a brief little Schoology update. I'm going to post this video onto YouTube, and then I will link it on Schoology. This is all I have on Schoology right now. It's not a whole lot. I apologize for that. I'll be getting more stuff up there in the coming days. But I am going to put a quiz up that will cover the inner planets and the outer planets, and you will do that through Schoology. Now, I know this may be a new platform to some of you, might be something you're not really used to just yet. So I will give you multiple attempts to do well on this quiz, but honestly, it's just going to be on the stuff that was in the notes and in these 2 videos, so it shouldn't be too difficult for you. But since I know it is something new, I'll set it up so that you have multiple attempts, and I will take the highest grade. So if you take it the first time, you get 100%, you don't have to do it again. You only have to do it the one time. And if you get 100%, good for you. You don't have to take it again. But you will have the opportunity to try again to get a higher score. I would never try to convince you not to do that. So that's going to be it for today. So I hope you have a good day, and I hope to see you back in the classroom real soon.